The cherry tree. One day, when Rakesh was 6, he walked home from the Masuri bazaar eating bright red cherries which had come all the way from the Kashmir valley. Rakesh lived with his grandfather on the outskirts of Masuri, just where the forest began. His father and mother lived in a small village 50 miles away where there were no schools. So they sent him to stay with his grandfather in Masuri. Grandfather was a retired forest ranger. He had a little cottage outside the town. Rakesh was on his way home from school when he bought the cherries. By the time he reached the cottage, there were only 3 cherries left. "Have a cherry, Dada," he said as soon as he saw his grandfather in the garden. Grandfather took 1 cherry and Rakesh promptly ate the other 2. He kept the last seed in his mouth for some time, rolling it round and round on his tongue until all the tang had gone. Then he placed the seed on the palm of his hand and studied it.
"Are cherry seeds lucky?"
asked Rakesh.
Of course.
"Then I'll keep it."
Nothing is lucky if you put it away. If you want luck, you must put it to some use.
"What can I do with the seed?" "Plant it."
Rakesh went to a corner of the garden where the earth was soft and yielding. He did not have to dig. He pressed the seed into the soil with his thumb and it went right in. Then he had his lunch and ran off to play cricket with his friends and forgot all about the cherry seed. In the winter evenings, Grandfather and Rakesh sat over a charcoal fire and Grandfather told Rakesh stories. In return, Rakesh would read to him from the newspaper. One spring morning, Rakesh went to the garden and picked up what he thought was a small twig and found to his surprise that it was well rooted. He stared at it for a moment, then ran to fetch Grandfather, calling,
"Dada, come and look. The cherry tree has come up."
What cherry tree?
"The seed we planted last year. Look, it's come up."
Rakesh went down on his haunches while Grandfather bent almost double and peered down at the tiny tree. It was about 4 inches high.
Yes, it's a cherry tree,
said Grandfather.
You should water it now and then.
Rakesh ran indoors and came back with a bucket of water.
Don't drown it.
Rakesh gave it a sprinkling and circled it with pebbles.
What are the pebbles for?
"For privacy."
That year, the monsoon rains came early and Rakesh plodded to and from school in raincoat and gumboots. The cherry tree grew quickly in the season. It was about 2 feet high when a goat entered the garden and ate all the leaves. Only the main stem and 2 thin branches remained.
Never mind. It will grow again. Cherry trees are tough.
Towards the end of the rainy season, new leaves appeared on the tree. Then a woman cutting grass scrambled down the hillside, her scythe swishing through the heavy monsoon foliage. She did not try to avoid the tree. One sweep and the cherry tree was cut in 2. When Grandfather saw what had happened, he went after the woman and scolded her. But the damage could not be repaired.
"Maybe it will die now."
Maybe.
But the cherry tree had no intention of dying. By the time summer came round again, it had sent out several new shoots with tender green leaves. That monsoon, Rakesh went home to his village to help his father and mother with the planting and ploughing and sowing. He was thinner but stronger when he came back to Grandfather's house at the end of the rains to find that the cherry tree had grown another foot. It was now up to his chest. One day he found a bright green praying mantis perched on a branch, peering at him with bulging eyes. Rakesh let it remain there. It was the cherry tree's first visitor. The next visitor was a hairy caterpillar who started making a meal of the leaves. Rakesh removed it quickly and dropped it on a heap of dry leaves.
Come back when you're a butterfly.
Winter came early. The cherry tree bent low with the weight of snow. One morning, when the sun came out, Grandfather came into the garden to absorb the warmth of the sun. He stopped in front of the cherry tree, stared at it for a few moments, and then called out,
Rakesh, come and look. Come quickly before it falls.
Rakesh and Grandfather gazed at the tree as though it had performed a miracle. There was a pale pink blossom at the end of a branch. The tree kept blossoming right through the spring. That summer, there were small cherries on the tree. Rakesh tasted one and spat it out.
It's too sour.
They'll be better next year.
On a warm, sunny afternoon, Rakesh was looking for Grandfather but could not find him. Then he looked out of the bedroom window and saw Grandfather reclining on a cane chair under the cherry tree.
There's just the right amount of shade here.
Grandfather and Rakesh waited in silence until the stars came out.
There are so many trees in the forest. What's so special about this tree? Why do we like it so much?
We planted it ourselves. That's why it's special.
Just one small seed,
said Rakesh as he touched the smooth bark of the tree.
I wonder,
He whispered,
is this what it feels to be God?